Hey, welcome back to the Spectrum Room. I'm Javien,
I'm Shamar.
and this is my mom. You can just call her Miss Dawson, though, or Mama Dawson.
Yes.
We decided to bring her on today to talk about how she raised me, dealing with my diagnosis. I think when I was about 14 or 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. But as probably about a year or two ago, a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with rapid cycling bipolar disorder. So my mom is going to actually talk about her experiences raising me and just mental health in general currently within our society. And it'll be a little more so of a discussion, and any questions that we haven't answered about parenting and mental health, we'll be sure to cover in a future video.
Say, Mama knows best.
Mama knows best, right? Okay, let me just start off by saying that I love my son. He means the world to me. And as a parent, as much as I know that as a mother and other mothers out there, that you want the best for your children. And I always wonder, as a mother, you want the best for your child. And some of the things that my son was doing at a young age, well, it started off about maybe 10 or 11 years old, not listening. And so I'm just thinking it's just this is normal, because that's that period between puberty.
Yeah.
Between puberty and you getting to know
I'm a
yourself.
child. Am I supposed to listen? I'm supposed to play around.
Okay.
But,
Well, so I just thought it was normal. He's growing into become a teenager and everything. But during the teenage years, between 12 and 13, he would tell me to shut up. It's just certain things that he would do. Tell me to shut up.
I was kind of spoiled as well.
But he was really stubborn. He didn't want to listen to anything that I told him. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's just being very disrespectful.
I'm not like that
so
now.
I was starting to take it personal. I was really starting to take it personal. And I didn't relate it to any type of mental illness. I didn't. But when it started getting worse, between maybe 14, 15, we went to go see
a doctor.
A doctor, and she just diagnosed him as being bipolar, and then she
To throw in an insert here, this was a diagnosis when I was actually as I'm saying, between 14 and 15. I think I was 14 because that was around the time
10th grade.
where the discovery of my sexuality was exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom took me to this mental health doctor. She also, I feel like, in my own opinion and experience growing up, I feel, and looking back on the situation before she took me to the mental health doctor, I feel when my sexuality, she knew about my sexuality, I think she felt that it was a phase and also wanted to diagnose that in a manner. So we actually went to the doctor, and I literally sat down, my own opinion, I literally sat down in front of this doctor for about 10 minutes. She only asked me questions. I did not take any written assessment.
I respect this doctor.
And so he just talked to me, and then within those few minutes, walked out the room. My mom came in the room, and the doctor diagnosed me as being bipolar. She, in the future discovered that was correct. But the thing is, the way a proper health assessment is supposed to be done, you have your first initial assessment, either the parent or the person who is meeting that psychiatrist, more so psychiatrist, or person within the mental health field who can provide the proper diagnosis. They're supposed to have your first initial assessment. You're supposed to take about at least 50 at minimum questionnaire about suicide, depression, anxiety, any other mental things that should be discovered that has an effect on your personality, characteristics, and living within society. It's supposed to be that questionnaire. They're supposed to speak to you, if they speak to you yourself if you're going, or the parents. It's supposed to be an explanation as to why you are bringing them in, what things they do. It's supposed to be more of a dissection of, of why this is taking place within the child, and that absolutely did not happen. That same day, this doctor, we can't provide her name, obviously confidentiality, privacy, and to respect her image and reputation, but she gave me a prescription. What happened was I usually am social, so I stayed quiet. I became less social. I kept to myself immediately when I would come into the house. I would go immediately to sleep. It wasn't when I also think back on the memory and experience of it. It literally felt probably like a low high. Like I was high enough to pay attention, but I couldn't. Like I felt like I was being controlled. And so when I was 14 and did that, I told my mom, I didn't like the medication. It was changing me. We went back to the doctor. The doctor basically told my mom that I was lying, of which I certainly wasn't. And the doctor told my mom that I was just making this up in order to continue to stay on medication.
I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm being honest, okay? I didn't know how to deal with it. I thought that, wow, maybe because I'm a single parent, maybe it's the environment that we live in. At that time, we were living in Southeast. I just didn't know what was going on. And so, like I said, I was taking it personally because when he told me to shut up, and I reacted. I didn't take the time to really wait. It was just a reaction. He told me to shut up. And so I go and talked with him, and I'm yelling, and he's yelling, and it was just terrible. Looking back at it now, the way I handle it, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't even know. I can't even say if I made it worse because I didn't know what was going on. It was like every day he was mad, angry, every day. But he did well in school, but it's just that if I would so if I have any advice for parents, me looking back on it now, my son is 22 now, and looking back at 14 and 15 and 16, 17, it was a trying time, you guys. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't do everything right. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I was just going with the flow of daily life. I was working. I'm a single parent. I have younger children, and so me trying to juggle my son, and then at the time I had maybe she was 3-4 years old daughter, and working. It was. I'm just being honest. I was overwhelmed. Okay.
Also, what rapid cycling bipolar disorder is, and we'll probably cover that in another video, but with rapid cycling
I was gonna tell about
bipolar disorder, what happens is it's a person who cannot control their emotions, and there are people out here, with my experience of other people, past persons who I've dated, who said you can control that. Now what happens is there are triggers that causes your emotions to change, whether it be being from happy to ecstatic, sad to depressed, angry to inflamed. Now there are triggers for this that you can avoid actually. And at that young age, I guess, understanding my identity, whether it be through race, sexuality, religion, and the current environment that I was in, that I was like, we came from one economic environment and went into another. I was also dealing with that. So there's 4 things going on internally with myself. And I believe the most expressive way that I knew how to express myself was through anger. And everything kept triggering the angry emotion within myself. I would say recently, probably within my young adult years, I have learned to express myself outside of anger. There are other emotions, or I guess just getting older and maturing, there are less things that frustrates me that triggers the emotion of anger. It's all about coping, but with rapid cycling bipolar disorder, you can feel this emotion for days, months, weeks, or even a few hours.
Yeah. It seemed like it went in waves. 1 minute he could be calm. Well, we went through so many moments. And, he stayed with his father for a time. But what I noticed was I was trying to figure out what was I doing wrong as a parent. But
it's never the parents.
And one thing that I did understand and notice that when my son wasn't there, like when he was with his father, the house was peaceful. So I was trying to figure this out. Okay, I was kind of stressed about this. I was stressed about it because I didn't know that it was really bipolar. I didn't know. I just thought it was just him just being disrespectful. But I remember what this cab driver told me. I got into the cab and I said that my son is really being really difficult. He said, "Is your son out here selling drugs?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, you don't have a problem, ma'am." He said, "Is he going to school?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, you don't have a problem." So I shut up. And so I always remember what that cab driver told me. He said, "Is he out here selling drugs?" I said, "No." "Well, you don't have a problem, ma'am." And so when that cab driver taught me that, I just dealt with it, but it was hell. I don't know how else to describe it because it was stressing me out. I was unhappy. I don't even know if I went through a depression, but I had to keep myself up. Like I said, I had a young daughter to take care of and take her to school. And then when I got pregnant, it just things just got out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I do apologize for.
Oh, I know.
My
It's
gosh.
okay.
Aw.
Yeah, it's okay. I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
I love my son, you guys, and y'all about to make me cry.
I'm sorry.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mom, okay. Madre.
But
Aw.
It's okay. Everything's good now. You know, that's how we do these videos. We share in the community, you know, how it was. Oh, come on, Mom.
Thank you, Miss Dawson, for
Yeah.
sharing.
Thank you very much for
You're
sharing,
welcome.
Mom. So, yeah. Any questions? How are you feeling? How are you feeling right now?
Talking to me?
Yes, Mom.
I'm feeling that hopefully this video can help someone. I just learned through this video. This taught me listening to my son and Shamar. It taught me that this is really serious. Well, let me backtrack. I'm in the medical field, and I had a class about mental health. And the nurse
She texted me about it. Right?
The
So
nurse
the class
talked
ended.
about bipolar. We talked about different mental illnesses, and I didn't never know that it was a disease. That it was something that it's a lifelong
Mental
disease.
health is a disease.
And I didn't know that. I thought it was something that you could control. You tell yourself to calm down, breathe in, breathe out. It's not that. It's easy for me to say that, but for someone going through this, and I just realized this when I
Medication
saw
helps very much.
when I saw the video. I was like, wait a minute, wow, this is really. But then with the class, when I learned about the class, that it's really an ongoing, lifelong disease. I didn't believe it until she said that. I was like, wait a minute, no, but it is. And so that was an eye opener a couple of weeks ago. But then when my son did the video, I realized, wow, this is really, it's something that I didn't know it was that extensive.
The video she's speaking about is our introductory video to the Spectrum
And it
Room.
taught
So if you
me.
haven't
I
already
learned.
seen it,
Right.
go to our channel, Spectrum Room. It's the very first video. It was uploaded about 2 weeks ago.
We should be able to
It's
put
called
the-
Why Spectrum Room, and you guys
We'll
go
figure out how to
check
put
that
the
out.
link in there, though. The
Yeah,
link in the
it'll be down here or over there. So like, subscribe, share.